everyone. Thanks so much for joining the Dr. Janie podcast today, where we talk about things that truly matter: people, plants, and process. Today's guest is a very important guest. Her name is Lora Forbush, and she oversees the Impact Foundation, the philanthropic arm of Nature's Sunshine. So I'm very excited to have her on today. Thank you, Lora. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And before we get into the Impact Foundation and all the incredible things and strides you're making with Impact Foundation for Nature's Sunshine, could you tell us and all the listeners today a little bit about yourself and how you really came into this position with the Impact Foundation at Nature's Sunshine?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So my name is Lora Forbush, and I have been with Nature's Sunshine now for about a year. And I kind of stumbled upon this role as I really looked to get back into the world of giving. So, to put a long story very short, I lost my role with another nonprofit when COVID came. I was running events and communication for that team. And after COVID hit, we weren't doing a whole lot of events. We were communicating a little bit with all of our volunteers and our donors, but I actually was asked to step into a different role because the foundation had downsized at that time. And, I was in that role for about a year, loved it. It was great, a lot of fun. But my heart was really set on just getting back into the philanthropic world, which was great because Nature's Sunshine was looking for somebody to fulfill that role here. So I took on that opportunity of February, and that was just of last year. So.
Well, all I will say, and I know all our listeners who know you, we are so grateful to have you. You've done so many amazing things. And I know before we started this call, I said I should grab my tissues. I don't have them. I hope, there's no tears in here, but you've just done so many amazing things with the company and for Impact. So again, we feel really blessed to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that.
Okay, so can you tell us what is Impact Foundation?
Absolutely. So the Impact Foundation is the philanthropic arm of Nature's Sunshine and Synergy Worldwide. So we take care of all of the charitable giving, and we help coordinate projects and opportunities in communities around the world where our teams and our employees live and work.
Okay, awesome. Wow. Sounds so simple, right? But yeah, there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot to it for sure.
What is your mission and what kind of work does the Impact Foundation do?
Yeah, so the Impact Foundation mission is simply put by saying sharing the healing power of nature. And honestly, we do that in a variety of ways. Much of what we do is centered around helping women and children, specifically in communities of poverty. Most of those women and children often face the risks associated with things like malnutrition. And so we do our best to provide essential vitamins and nutrients, as well as resources to those women, children, and the communities that they live in.
Awesome. Could you tell me a little bit more about how you find these projects? Do they reach out to you? Do you search for them? I'm curious how all that kind of comes together and blends.
Yeah, so it is a blend. We do have people who reach out, looking for volunteers or opportunities, but most of what we do is with our partners, and it's really them looking in their own backyards and identifying a need. And so we'll work with them to find an organization that, one, aligns well with our mission, and then two, is making the biggest, best impact that we can with every donor dollar or every hour that we have a volunteer to help. So it's a combination of the two.
Okay. And then you had mentioned helping women and children, and usually along the lines of poverty and malnutrition. My heart just breaks thinking that, women, children, and people aren't having the essential nutrients that they need to just get day to day. How do you determine that? Is that just based off of the projects that are reaching out to you that have that need, or how do you determine whether to give them the essential nutrients via vitamins or minerals or supplements, or maybe a meal if someone's not eating? How do you make that determination?
Well, luckily, we don't have to make that call very often. It kind of lends itself well to the organizations that we partner with. So we are not necessarily the all-knowing in each of these, fields. And so when we want to go help students, we partner with organizations who are already doing such great work in the communities. We make sure that they align well with our mission, and then we get to work. And so, it's never really a decision to, we're not out here deciding, okay, we're only going to help this group, or, we're really trying to figure out how to help the best we can. And really that takes shape in a couple of different ways, but we do provide those essential vitamins and nutrients to, mothers who are both expecting, as well as mothers who have just had a child. So, we're able to provide nutrients in a very vital point in their lives to help really those children get a great start to their life, as well as moms who are helping care for those children, those babies. And so it's a little bit of both, and we're just doing the best we can to make sure that we partner with the right people.
Oh, well, that's amazing. As we're getting into this, can you tell me a little bit about Impact Foundation's projects that are your most recent projects?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of amazing projects. Most recently, we've partnered with Primary Children's again this year, and that is a project that Synergy and all of the folks there are working to fundraise for. To give you a little bit of info or insight to that project, we partner with Primary Children's, but more specifically their Heart Center. And this is in an effort to raise awareness and raise the funds necessary to help support the children receiving care at the Heart Center there at Primary Children's. So we raise money all February long, which is Heart Health Month. And then Synergy comes together to help make a donation to help those kiddos there receiving care. So in tandem with that, most recently, we also helped provide those essential items for well-being. And that looks like a beautiful fleece hand-tied blanket that we had roughly 30 or 40 volunteers come together last month to help prepare. And what's so special and unique about that opportunity is that these blankets lay on the beds where these children are coming in to receive care. And I'll do my best.
Like, okay, don't do it, Jamie.
But truly, it makes that moment magical, because these children are walking into what may seem like a really scary, clean white room. And that's maybe where they'll be for the next several days or weeks and even months. And so it's really awesome to be able to provide a coping mechanism, if you will, to help bring a little bit of comfort and healing into that room. So we had a group of volunteers help prepare those blankets, and we'll be sharing those with Primary Children. So that's one of many, but we did, just before that, we had about 40 to 50 of our executive leaders all together from around the world who were helping pack meal kits for the children of the Granite Education Foundation and the Granite School District. And what that means is these meal kits are packed with 2 full days of meals. And the reason being is that, these students across the Granite Foundation or the Granite District, they typically rely on a free federal food program. And so they go to school and that's where they eat. And so when they go home, sometimes they don't have a meal to go home to, or the circumstances just aren't working out in their favor, and maybe mom and dad won't be home to help them prepare a meal. So these meal kits go home with these students in need and help feed them on the weekends when they otherwise might go without. So
again, this really tugs on my heartstrings to imagine, my own children. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son, and to think that maybe they wouldn't eat, one time a day, or on the weekend. How do you tell your child, I don't have any food? So it's just beautiful what the Impact Foundation is providing, and really being that helping arm to those who really truly are in need. And you know, right in our own backyard, right? Right in our own backyard. So thank you for that. I know the answer to this. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I think it's important that we just talk about it. But why is it so important to give? Why is giving so important?
You know, Jamie, you hit the nail on the head when you said it's in, you know, it's happening in our own backyard. And really there's this trifecta of reasons of why giving is so important. And I think first and foremost is just the need is so great. There are so many mouths to feed. There are just so many people in the world who are experiencing circumstances, whether you know, life has served them that, and they're doing the best they can, or you know, these children who are being born into the same circumstances and they're doing their best to thrive. You know, it's really just because the need is so great and there is always somebody that we can be helping. So the Impact Foundation thinks that it's pretty important to give, just not here locally, not just here locally, but really around the world. I mean, this is happening in our own backyard. And I think a lot of people would be really surprised by that, even in very affluent areas. And so that I think is necessarily the number one reason why it's so important to give. But really, I mean, there are two other reasons that I think are also really important. From a business standpoint, giving opportunities to our employees to help serve the communities that they live in and work in, I think is second to none. I think it's an opportunity that employees really appreciate, and I think it's very much valued by our employees. And we always have fun doing it. So it's always an opportunity to give back, and it's always giving back is always more fun together. So, and lastly, you know, I think what's really important too is there's research that suggests that consumers will pick companies and the products that they purchase based on elements of, you know, philanthropic giving. And so if we're able to, you know, show our consumers and those who are purchasing our products that, hey, we're out here, you know, trying to do the best we can for the communities that not only we, you know, our employees live and work in, but also that our consumers do too. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons to give, but you know, it's always about getting started and making the biggest impact that you can together. So.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate that. I know we're just touching on a few of the most recent projects, but I know that there is a vast web of projects and people that have been helped along the way. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And it feels good to get involved, right? And it also, to your point, it feels important to be part of a community that like Nature Sunshine, that doesn't just think about, you know, the bottom dollar, the bottom line. It's like, how do we give, you know, where can we put those resources and how can we help? And how can we keep making those strides forward to be, you know, bigger and bolder and better?
That's exactly right.
So Miss Lora, if someone is listening to this podcast right now and is really just embracing Impact Foundation, maybe they're an employee, maybe they're just a new person to hearing about Nature Sunshine and this Impact Foundation, how can they become involved? How can they get to be a part of this community of giving back, whether you're employee or other?
Absolutely. So there are ways to be involved, whether you're an employee or just live in the communities where, you know, we're serving. I think first and foremost, if you want to stay up to date with the things that we're doing, the projects we're working on, or if you're looking for new ways to get involved, I think the best place to go would be to follow us on Instagram. So our handle on Instagram is My Impact Foundation. And so there you'll be able to see all of our recent projects, get a little bit of info on each of those, and then, you know, reach out, message us. And if you have a project that you are interested in standing up in your area, or if you have an organization that you think we should work with, all of those are great and always well received and welcome. So please send those over to us that way. And then additionally, on our website, we have a lot of the same information, but far more in depth. So I would, you know, request that they visit our website to learn more about each of those projects. We also, if you are interested or feeling compelled to do so, we have a link on there to make a donation. So if you're interested in helping to support the foundation and all of the projects that we're working on, both near and far, I would invite you to check out that link to make a donation to the foundation so that we can continue giving around the world. So.
Well, I thank you so much. You heard it here first with Lora Forbush, who oversees the Impact Foundation at Nature's Sunshine. If you want to learn more about the Impact Foundation and how you can be a part of this do-gooder community, not only give in your backyard, maybe there's a project that the Impact Foundation isn't aware of. So please bring that to Lora at the Impact Foundation, and they will consider helping within your area, maybe that they're unaware of, that people need those resources. You can go to My Impact Foundation on their Instagram handle to learn more information. And Lora, I thank you so much. Is there anything else before we close here? Is there anything else you want to add?
You know, I would just love to say thank you to all of our volunteers and our donors. Without each of you who have given, not only your time, but even the generosity of those who have, shared a donation with us, we simply could not do what we're doing without your help. And so just a quick thank you to all of those who have helped the Impact Foundation get where it is, as well as our partners. It's truly amazing what we can do when we come together. So thanks for allowing us to share our message, Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks, Ms. Lora. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see ya.
I appreciate you tuning in to the Dr. Jamie podcast. If you're interested in getting updates on when we release new videos, please click the subscribe button below and you will be notified and you won't miss